Hello, Team Flyer, and welcome back to the Always Believer podcast. I am your host, Ariadna. I'm the creator, the director, the everything basically of the Always Believer, and I'm thrilled to say that we're back with another episode this week. Of course, we are. For all of those who are new here, this is our season 3. We have over 100 episodes that you can find on YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify, on Libsyn, link in bio, wherever you are. You can find me on Instagram. You can find our blog at thealwaysbeliever.com and TikTok, of course. TikTok. I love creating TikToks. If you know anything about me, that's usually where I am as well. So, in these episodes, we are talking 1-to-1. We're doing a 2-for-1, as you already know. We have started the YouTube videos as well, little by little. We are growing and healing and coming and going and feeling all sorts of feels. Now, if there's a moment that there is silence or we stop recording for a quick hot second, is because I do have a 2-year-old cat. You all know him. He's Spinks from Hocus Pocus. I'm a huge Hocus Pocus Salem fan. I've talked a lot about it, not on the podcast per se, but I do have another podcast about that. But that aside, he's rolling around. There's his toys. He comes and goes as pleases. And sometimes you can hear him in the background. But other than that, we're good to go. I just want to say hello to the new faces and not that I'm seeing you physically, but I can feel your vibe. I know you're there. So thank you so much for tuning in. So, today's topic is spring cleaning, right? So, we've heard this terminology a million gazillion times before, and for most people it's like, oh, I'm just gonna throw away old clothes or old things, like material things. Which, honey, if that's what you're doing, first of all, congratulations, because not a lot of people do that. The older I get, the wiser I get, because that's usually how you should live life, you know what I mean? Living and learning and growing and dancing. But a lot of people actually don't do spring cleaning and don't clear out old stuff. So if that is what you're doing, congratulations, because that's super duper important. But right now, we're going to go in a little bit deeper. We're definitely going to go through the stages of cleaning out physical things, because it's so needed, but also clearing out old thought patterns. So, spring cleaning. I don't know about you, but the first thing comes to my mind is magic. Okay, so first of all, I'm Monica from Friends. I adore cleaning. I do spring cleaning all year round. If you've met me, once a month, time permitting, if not once every 2 months or 3 months, obviously once a season, basically, tops. I do donate a lot of stuff. I go through my things. I'm also minimalist, but also love a clean, friendly house. So I adore the word spring and cleaning, because I love spring. Not because I was born in spring, it could be that. I do love summer a lot more. But with spring, it's just the flowers are blooming and the weather is warmer finally. And you might love winter and you might be in the snow loving it. But there's something about that rebirth. And that's something that we're going to go through today. We're going to talk about those specific moments of what winter brings and that rebirth of spring and so on and so forth. So spring cleaning for me means magic, because it's time to get the whole household, whoever you live with, whoever you feel like, even if it's you and your pets, just be okay, what are the old toys that you really don't play with, or they're really gross from throwing them around, or being stuck under the couch, and there's no way that we should clean this. Let's just throw it away. Let's clear out that old energy. So when it comes once again to the physical things, the best thing that we can do with this, for example, is piles, lists, just go tackle it. So now I know a lot of people have come up to me and they're like, oh my God, Ariadna, I get what you mean, but I get so overwhelmed. I'm not Monica. I'm the furthest away from Monica from Friends, I'm that's okay. That's life. That's absolutely okay, of course. You recognize that is a huge plus on its own already, right? So what you do is you tackle something little by little. this is why spring cleaning, it's not a matter of one day, 1 hour, one morning, and that's it, and you're done till like next year, like bye. No, it's something that you can do gradual on a day-to-day life. So no matter what your living space or situation is, or people that you're living with, your family, your kids, once again, pets or whatever, you know, your grandmother, who knows, it's like start tackling one space at a time, like one little corner at a time. Just make sure that you start doing it and progressing through that, because it's gonna alleviate you and your mind and just like everything else so much, that it's really something that you should take advantage of, something that you should really fulfill, to feel lighter and better and be ready for like spring and summer and like brand new vibes, you know, and just shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. So, physical things, like I said, start in piles, make a list, start from there, move on, move forward. You know, once again, you can hear that in the background. It's my husband and the cat of doing things, so excuse those noises. But yeah, you start like, for example, with whatchamacallit, what in the world was I saying? This is what always happens, of course. Oh, there he comes. He might just jump on the table. He's not allowed to jump on the table, but he sometimes comes and says hello. Anyways, point being, my loves, my flyers, is clothes. Stuff that doesn't fit you. We're gonna reach down within that thought and that train of thought of like, no, but I'm gonna get skinnier and I'm gonna fit in the summer. I'm gonna fit in this next year, and I'm gonna do. No. Why? Because that train of thought is more hurting us than actually making us progress. Because we're stuck in this mentality in two different ways, but the same like result. So in one way, it's like, oh, this is what I should look like. This is what I should fit in. This is what I should wear. This is the size. This is the fit. This is the thing. Even though I'm here right now, this is where I should be because this is where I was. So first of all, you're already stuck on the past because you already have something in your closet that you used to wear, and you can't wear anymore. And then the other train of thought is, it's taking up space. It's taking up physical space in your closet for you, in your mind and in your physical space that's weighing you down. So in this two-parter, basically, in this two sides of the same coin with the same result, it's an item that you no longer need because it no longer serves you. It serves no purpose. And because that space is being taken by something negative subconsciously, you're not letting yourself space. You're not allowing have a free space for more goodness and more things to come in. Because yeah, you might not be that size anymore, and that's okay, because we're people. We're people. We're not meant to be the same size our whole lives. We're still going through a pandemic after 2 years, and who saw that coming? You know what I mean? Your actions, your feelings, your way of moving your body, everything is okay. It's all normal in that kind of sense. So the fact that you don't fit into something that you did 10 years ago, 2 months ago, it's absolutely fine. We fluctuate. It's frustrating sometimes. For that, a whole different chapter, a whole different episode, of course, but more so when it comes to spring cleaning, certain items, especially closet-wise, And if you're thinking about no, but I really want to fit in it, but oh my God, I really I'm gonna do it, Ariadna, I promise you. And I'm first of all, you don't have to promise, you don't have to keep a promise to me, because it's to you, it's up to you. But second of all, whether you have a kid or not, you've known a kid. You've met a kid, you've met a baby. I'm assuming at some point in your life, you've met a tiny human at some point in your life, right? Of that tiny human, think of their age that you've met. It could be your kid, it could be your neighbor, it could be that one time you went through a park, Think of the amount of clothes they change, like the amount of sizes they go through because they're growing. Like, yeah, but they're kids, it's normal. It doesn't stop when we're kids. It's not like, oh my God, you're 18, you're gonna be, this weight forever. Hello? No. Like, that's crazy talk right there, isn't it? Just to think that way, right? So this comes and just shows up, and it's in the sense of, if you see kids, and if you are having a hard time thinking about kids, and you're like, I don't know no kids, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, let's think about yourself. Hello, you were a baby. You can't fit something when you were 6 months old to like whatever age you are now. Like that's, no. So it just goes to show you that with new ages comes new sizes, comes new resources, comes new patterns, comes new everything. So please, please, please do yourself the hugest favor and start, throwing some things out, because it's going to alleviate your mind and your spirit and your soul a whole lot more. So now that we're done, talking about clothes, of course, it could also be other things. I'm still in physical things and objects. I'm still talking about those. It could be stuff, and here I'm looking around our apartment, that, kind of like Marie Kondo, basically, that don't bring you joy. It could be stuff from your exes, stuff from that person that you no longer talk to, whether it's your parent, whether it's your sibling, whether it's your cousin, whether it's whoever. If it's a person that no longer brings you joy, who gave you this, or if it's an item that really is like, why do I have this, out of like obligation, or it's like, oh, it's been there forever. Dude, babe, flyer, sweetheart, love, amor. No. It is time to say that and say bye, bye. I wasn't start singing, because I always start singing. But I'm trying to stick to the main part of this. So things like that, things that you're like, you have a whole bunch of board games, for example, because I love board games. Like, oh, we'll play it one day. We'll play this board game one day. Like, we'll definitely, take it out, and maybe you played with it once and you were like, but no, we'll try again with more people. Like, once we get more people in the house, or once we get, our neighbor X and our best friend's cousin Y to come over, like, next year at some point. No. If that board game, if that item is just sitting there collecting dust because you haven't opened it, out the door it goes. Research places to donate in your town, in your city. I always donate books. I'm an avid reader, and I do buy a lot of books, but at the same time I go donate them to a local library or to the local schools as well, because I think that at least it's a hand-me-down that's going to be put in really good service and in use. There you go, my bilingualism coming out with juice and use. So yeah, same goes for books, same goes for stuffed animals, and I love stuffed animals. It's really hard for me to get rid of them, but I do get rid of them because their time has passed with me. They did what they needed to do. They were in my life for a certain period of time. It's time to make way for new stuffed animals. And I'm perfectly okay admitting that I have a bunch of stuffed animals. Like, I look around and I already see 5. I'm not even in my room. You know what I mean? So yeah, with books, with DVDs, movies, blankets, chairs, furniture even. I mean, you think it, you name it, you got it. So once again, this is a huge task, and I don't know why it's only in spring. It should be more than once a year. But if you ever feel overwhelmed, just start little by little. Start, like, go to your living room and be like, okay, what in this space feels like me, soothes me, is me? What in this space do I want to keep and maintain, and it makes me feel like the best person ever? That's what you keep. All right. So, not only that, we're going to also, get rid of thought patterns. And that's a little bit trickier. You can't really go, like take it out of your brain and just be like, delete please, let's throw it away. Let's put this in the recycling bin. It's not that easy, not as easy as a physical object, of course. But yeah, we are just going to do something with thought patterns. So for the next, whatever feels right. I'm not going to say the next week. I'm not even going to say the next month, the next year, whatever feels right. You're going to get down either through a journal, through the notes on your phone, it doesn't matter where, whatever feels right for you and your heart's desire. I want you to catch yourself. I want you to catch yourself next time when you feel negative or hanging on to the past. And I want you to change that thought into a positive one. The way that we're going to allow ourselves and help ourselves heal and clear all those negative thoughts is literally by catching ourselves. So I, for one, and I'm a huge, I know the word in Spanish. I'm a huge advocate. That's the word in English. Yeah, there you go. Of word, there's little binks. Chasing his tail. He grew up with dogs and it's adorable because he thinks he's one. Anyways, seriously, I talk about my cat a lot because, oh my God, he's just golden sunshine and then some. Anyways, so I'm all for positive affirmations, positive word association, whatever you want to call it basically. What does that mean? I took away from my vocabulary a long, long time ago, years and years ago, thankfully, all the negative thoughts as much as I could via vocabulary. So I don't say, I can't think of any examples right now. I would love to, but blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, but blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get more examples of this for the futures podcast, without a doubt. What I'm trying to say is that any time that your thoughts become something negative, change into something positive. Because the word but is a negative word. It's like, it is really trying to block you. You like auto block yourself from like that gift of life. It's like, oh, we're going to the movies on Saturday. Do you want to come? I would love to, but I have like a meeting right before and I won't make it on time, but I don't think I'm going to make it on time when you... What I'm trying to say with this train of thought and the whole but situation is it all depends on how you speak. Like, it matters so much the way you speak. And the fact that I can't think of any on the spot, it just truly means that not only any examples next time, but it also means that I haven't used it in the longest amount of time for me to be able to like drop examples right away. Because I'm like, wait, I don't really talk like this. I do work with a lot of clients. I work with close ones, and then my friends also, they're like, hey, if you ever catch me say something like that, like, please help. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So they do come frequently in my surroundings, but not in a frequent, like, not frequently enough to be like, oh my God, this happened, you know? Point being, whenever you start thinking about the past, or like, oh, I used to be so skinny, or he used to, or she used to do this, and they used to be, or, oh, I used to be stronger, or I could have worked, or I didn't have to like sleep so long, and I could have just, partied the next day. And no, my love. We're going to go from that train of thought all the way to a positive thought of who you are today, and what does that mean for you today? What does that mean in the sense of who you are in this moment and in this present time? Because this is what happens when you record at any time of any day. You're gonna have noises. So I think you guys hear the house next door, but keep bearing with me, and thank you so much too among the chaos that's going on in the background. Anyways, so all I want you to do with these thoughts is come over to a positive one. Anytime you find yourself saying a bad thought, change into a positive thought. Anytime you say, I can't do one more push-up, I can't get out of bed after 10 o'clock, you're going to say, I can and I will. If your intention is to get out of bed before 10 a.m. for whatever reason, insert time above, it doesn't matter. Let's just go for 10 a.m. I'm not saying the next day wake up at 7 a.m., do a million jumping jacks and have the healthiest breakfast and go make a million errands before 10 a.m. I'm just simply saying to you that let's change that thought of, oh my God, I can't wake up at 10 a.m. anymore. Like, or I can't, like I'm really trying to, but I oversleep and whatever. It's like, you know what, the next day you're gonna put the alarm at 9:50. And you might wake up at 9:55 and you're like, oh, but it's only 5 minutes away from 10. It's still not the same, it's not the point. But hey, you woke up 5 minutes before 10 a.m. The next time you catch yourself missing someone and that's what's toxic in your life, and because you're so familiarized with these concepts and that comfort, you know, the way they used to do that, you're gonna change it around. It's like, you know what, but I do this for myself now. I make the best darn coffee for myself right now. And I know I deserve more. Or whatever it is that your previous relationship gave to you. Whatever relationship that is, once again, I'm only talking about romantic ones, because anytime we say relationship, it's like, oh my God, my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend, whatever. I'm like, no, relationships in all spaces, levels of friendships, parents, family, like bosses, like everything, basically, like literally everything, right? So that being said and done, the next little tidbit is, you know, you're gonna let them lie, let them rest. Who cares if they were lying or they were being toxic, these people or these situations? That doesn't matter to you anymore because you've moved on. And I know it's harder you think it gets harder every day, but it doesn't, because you're gonna take these small steps and you're gonna turn them into something greater. And like I always say, the fact that you're listening to my podcast or any sort of messaging that gives you this kind of vibe and flow among the chaos of life around you and around me right now, because this is as real as life gets, you know, it's already a huge step forward. Not only that, is what really matters is where you are right now and what you're doing with your life and how you're taking charge of it. You know, like that's exactly what matters right now. Now, for all those people who are watching this through YouTube and you're seeing me live through YouTube right now, I'm looking all around because, once again, the husband, the cat, neighbors next door, I'm just making sure that, you know, if I have to pause, I'll pause. But thank you so much for bearing with me through these episodes. It's real. Like, I'm here on, you know, without any makeup. Did I brush my hair today? I don't think so. I love my wild natural hair. So for all those who are watching, this is how I roll. You see me this way on Instagram, on TikTok, and I'm like, do I really want to get dressed up? I'm like, nah, I just want to be comfy and like talk to these people, talk to my flyers the way that, you know, friend to friend would do. So hey, point being, going back once more, let them lie, let them rest, let them go. Oh, that's not the way the song goes, I know. Sorry, change it up a little bit. Because what matters is where you are right now. That you're listening to this, that you're resonating with this, that's aligned with you, that you are going to stop listening after this episode's over and you're going to be like, oh my God, let me get my journal out, let me see where I can start, let me see, you know, even if it's one thing, even if it's waking up at 9:55, 5 minutes before, you know what I mean? It starts now, it starts with you, and this is why you're here. And the reason, another big, gigantic, wonderful reason for you to let go of these objects, of these thought patterns, of all these things, not only through spring cleaning time, of course, it's because they serve their purpose and their time. You have learned these lessons. Let that sink in. One more. You have learned these lessons. You have got to understand that right now, all those things do not serve a purpose for you. So I want you to sit back whenever you can today, in whatever moment of your lifetime, and write the 5 biggest success points you've had recently. Because look where you are today and look where you were 6 months from now. they're a whole different vibe, a whole different people, a whole different queen energy in front of me or king energy in front of me. I just know it. I feel it. I got this. I see you. Like, you're so different than you were 6 months ago, and that's something to be so utterly grateful for. And if you think you're like, no, but right now it's like I hit rock bottom, like I wasn't rock bottom then, but now I'm rock bottom right now. Hey, it's still different, right? And the beauty behind hitting rock bottom is like literally the only way is to go but up. So take advantage of that and take advantage of that feeling, of that vibe, you know? Because right now what you are doing is showing up for yourself, is taking care of yourself, and you are learning and healing all the lessons that you dealt with, right? So let's rebirth. Now, to summarize, to wrap things up a little bit now, rebirth. My, oh my, do I love this word. I want to say this world, I also love this world, but this word all year long, in any way, shape, capacity in general, because rebirth, it's like, okay, so I'm a tarot reader and I love my cards, my aura cards, and everyone like fears the tower and stuff like that, or death, and I'm like, this is a rebirth. This, like, the end is done, or it's near, or it's coming, and you're ready to come up from the ashes like the phoenix that you are and arise. Like, you are ready to do that, you know? And it's something so incredible to receive. So rebirth, you can just hear like all the angels sing and the fairies dancing and the flowers be like do 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 do, right? So dancing flowers, right? Spring is dance. Spring is movement. Move your body, flow with your body. Release what doesn't fulfill you, because it is time. It is time. Like always, if I could scream, I would. But we respect neighbors here, of course. But seriously, like, after a whole darkness of winter, for whatever, how like, it could have been really dark, it could have been really light, doesn't matter, but it's still winter, and you're like colder and moodier, maybe, who knows. It is time to move your body, to be free with your body. We're gonna stretch more. It could be 5 minutes each day, and hey, maybe in 2 months' time you turn those 5 minutes into a whole hour work session 3 times a week, just because today you started stretching for 5 minutes. So I have here 2 clear songs, because, you know, I love music and I love singing, and I don't have a good singing voice, but that's the point of the story. I sing no matter where I go. And the first one that came to mind was Waterfalls by TLC. And it's Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls, of course. Part of the lyric says, clear blue and unconditional skies have dried the tears from my eyes. No more lonely cries. And I resonated with that because we came from that. We came from a moment in our life that might have been darker than usual, heavier than usual. You know, we just hit the 2-year mark of a pandemic, all these sorts of things. But at the same time, it's like, wait, there are clear and unconditional skies. Now, the word unconditional, the word that means pure love and joy and magic, comes and arises in this moment. Those clear blue unconditional skies have dried the tears from my eyes, because there are no more lonely cries anymore. You're ready to rejoice. You're here listening to this podcast and making time for yourself and doing what it is you do while you're listening or while you're watching this YouTube video, like, to make sure that you have the time to do what resonates for you and take care of you. So that, like, is a huge success. And the second song that follows right at the end of it all is Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. And this is one of my all-time favorite songs by one of my all-time favorite bands. I adore the Beatles. That's all I can say right now, because I just, like, I can speak forever about them. So the song goes, little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say it's all right. So please feel free to listen to those two songs to listen to the lyrics that resonate, either these or those. But yeah, like, it is time for that spring cleaning, internally, externally, with physical and emotional things, with anything that you can find, and even with yourself. You know, if you wear glasses like I do, change them up if you can. Get yourself new ones. Get new clothes. Get stuff that feels right for you. Get a board game that you're excited to play every single day. Get that deck that you're like, oh my God, this is the deck. And then you might have bought a different deck way back when. And you're like, oh, I thought I was going to like it, but it doesn't resonate with me anymore. It's okay. Donate it. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. Just remember, here comes the sun. So, last and definitely not least, of course, with all this is the question. And our question is, how are you rebirthing right now? What are you going to do today that will help you clear out the cobwebs to bring in new prosperity and abundance from whatever you store on your phone, which is a whole different vibe. Like, that is energy. Your phone, like, you have it in your hand. You see so much of your phone. You have it like on your person all the time. It holds a lot of energy. So clear out Instagrams you don't follow, people you don't follow. Delete those numbers. Delete those emails. Clear it on out. So from whatever you store on your phone to your closet, how you feel with what you wear, to people in your life. You can delete people, not physically, please, but delete them in the sense of, you know what, I'm going to delete your number. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You no longer resonate with me. I'm walking away because I know my value and I know my worth, and I know that today is going to be the day that I'm going to make myself better because I've walked away from you. Period. So, yeah, it's totally okay to walk away from someone or something that no longer is serving you or resonates with you. So how are you rebirthing right now? Are you doing spring cleaning in your closet? Are you changing apartments? What are you doing right now in your life that's going to make you become a better you and heal in a much bigger capacity? All right, that's it for our episode for today on spring cleaning. I hope it resonated, and I'm sure it has at some point, on some level, in some way. Of course, if you liked what you hear, you know where we're at. We're at thealwaysbeliever.com. You can find our podcast. Obviously, you're listening to it right now on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Libsyn, link in bio, literally wherever I am, and at thealwaysbeliever.com. I also do a lot of programs and readings and a whole bunch of stuff, so please come and join along and share whatever post. It could be my post from my personal Instagram, it could be the Always Believers post, it could be any post that you find along the way. The more you share, the more you tag people, the more that you utilize the community that brings you joy, the more you bring into your life that kind of community and that kind of vibe, first of all. But it also helps us so much as creators that we are, that we feel seen even more, and we're able to reach more people. Because, you know, there's the reason why I started this podcast. There's a reason why I write what I write, because I can keep this knowledge to myself and be like, oh, okay, I'm good. No, I'm here to like share this information with you, and for you to share that information with somebody else, so we can help to make the world a much better and happier and more soulful place. Not overnight, but it's those 5 minutes. It starts with 5 minutes, literally. So please feel free to share. Catch us soon. We're always doing new episodes. Of course, we're in season 3 of the Always Believer podcast. I'm your host, Ariadna. Feel free to email me. We breathe. We say, hug tighter, love stronger, always believe. Have a beautiful day. We'll talk to you all soon. Bye.